Howdy. Hello. Today is Sunday, January 15th, 2023. Um, we came here on Thursday. We arrived on Thursday. And when I came out here to the small shed, the watershed, to start up the generator, um, this is what I actually saw. Okay. Well, all this stuff's going to get cleaned up in all due time. The tank is no longer sitting up and down. Apparently, well, all of this stuff was flooded with water up until about where you see the dirt mark on the rake. That's how deep it has gotten, and now I got to try to get the tank back into position. And what this means is that I have a water problem underneath. What I failed to do is that I did not put drainage around the foundation, around this brick center here, this piece, that concrete piece that goes all the way around. I did not put drainage tile or a French drain around the foundation. So now I've got a water problem that I got to solve. And I guess what I'm ultimately going to have to do, I got to get all this stuff out of here too. But what I'm ultimately going to have to do is that I'm going to have to, once the tank is in place and everything's in place, I'm going to have to backfill all of this stuff with maybe 4 inches of concrete. Yeah, with some concrete. That should take less than a cubic yard. Excuse me, I'm going to have to backfill all this stuff with concrete to make sure that water does not come up anymore. That's one aspect. I have to do that because I need to, as long as this is open, there will always be moisture evaporating coming up out of the ground into this facility. It is very well insulated, which means that's going to keep everything nice and tight and snug. Now, the problem is that if I'm going to have solar batteries and inverters in on this wall here, okay, I'm going to have a major problem with humidity, and this is something that I don't want. Okay, again, where these bins are currently, okay, and the generator is currently, that's a generator that's powering the shed that we're staying in. When the battery packs go here and the inverter goes there, with the humidity coming up out of the ground, I don't want that contaminating, not contaminating, but affecting the circuits, especially if we had a cold spell that comes across and it causes water vapor or whatever to crystallize inside circuit boards. I'm not interested in that happening, so therefore I got to seal this stuff up. Okay, on the outside, what I'm looking at having to do is I've got, this is where the solar panels were supposed to go, but that's changed, and I'll discuss that in a minute. I've got power line coming here through trenches and going there, coming up out of the concrete. Over there is where I have water lines going out. One water line going out there to where you see the black, plastic that's covering PAX A water line. Otherwise, the other line goes in here. So I got to run drainage, and those lines are about 2 feet underground, except for when it comes out of there, it's a little bit shallower. But otherwise, I need to run that. And the good part about trying to run the drainage line is that when we took care of the drainage for here, where this board is that's sticking out of the ground, we have a Y connection where I intend to make a connection for the overflow from the water tank coming out of the building. So they'll work out fine. So around this side, maybe on this side, and definitely on the higher side here, since I have higher elevation there, I'm going to need to run a line here away from the grounding rod that's here. I'm going to need to run a drainage line here and going all the way around. The drainage line is going to have to be approximately at least 2 feet deep at the very minimum, because it's got to take the water away at a lower level than where the bottom of the tank is sitting at. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Now, pertaining to the solar, I'm looking at this morning around 8 o'clock. I had a sunny day, sunny morning, And when I looked up, I had trees blocking sunlight. And if you look even at the shed right now, it's approximately noon. There's still shade. This is the only area where I have sun. Okay, so which means that for solar to go here, that means that I had to cut way back, well, further going back, which is something that I anticipated. However, this is not still practical. Okay, so what I'm looking at is going across on the other side, which is something that I was not intending to do. I was trying to keep as much of a buffer between the garden and this place here, but based on what I saw this morning, I gotta relocate this tree, that tree. Yeah, I gotta relocate these two trees. The berry bushes and stuff like that, the blackberry bushes, they can stay. The whatever else other berry. Only other thing I have that could be tall would be this here, and that's a pomegranate. Otherwise, the two trees, I think those two are apple trees, I got to relocate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim everything going from this line here, going all the way back to where that pile is. That's approximately maybe 45, 50 feet. Okay, 45, 50 feet going that way and 28 feet going this way down this road here. So yeah, approximately 28 feet. And that way I have full sun hitting the solar panels. Huh, that's odd. Wow, look at that. I don't know if you can see like the corona discharge. It looked like seemed to be like a ball on this side here. I don't know what that is, but it's anyway. See the corona discharges all. Anyway, let me get back on course here. Ah, that's probably what that was. That's from the cameras. Yeah, that's what that is. That ball is that same little ball there, but it's nothing major. Anyway, I'm going 28 feet from there to back here so that the solar panels are supposed to get full sun throughout most of the day. As you can see, there's maybe late afternoon I may need to trim some of these trees down here, some of the taller ones. Worst case scenario also is that I may need to take a couple of those taller ones there down, maybe the front four up there, this one, two, three, four, I may take those down, but that's about the max I'm looking at taking down. So another 28 feet going that way is what I'm looking at to accommodate for the solar. Now when I do that, the wiring, I'm going to have to run the wires. I'm going to have to run the wires through here, going back that way to where the red pipe that's sticking out of the ground at, because that is where I had the solar power to go underground into the watershed. So that's what I'm looking at this point. Just had to be made. You got to adapt and go with things as things happen. A way that this could have been resolved earlier on is that, how you say, could have used that software to tell me where the sun would be at any given time throughout the year, so that I could have better understand that the location I had selected would not be the most productive as far as solar power is concerned. But lesson learned, yeah. So if any of you are looking at trying to put up solar panels, my recommendation is you got to consider where the sun's going to be at the shortest day of the year, which is approximately December 21st. That's the shortest day. And then basically after December 21st, the sun starts to move back up towards the north, so that you start having longer days. Also, I guess you also got to consider the angle that the sun is at the 21st, around 21st of December, as well as midsummer, where the sun's going to be higher overhead, but the sun tends to be more directly overhead during that time. I believe for this area here, I believe it's at between 14 and 17 degrees. That's where the sun is. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I would recommend. Take that into consideration before you as you're picking out where you're planning on putting solar and things of that nature. Okay, that's basically it. Okay, take care.